So how we doing? I want to do a short video on trauma, the trauma program, I call it, and how I'm an observer of human behavior, and as I talk about in my work, reactivity and moving from reaction to response to switching on and tuning in to something greater. And that with the trauma program for many years I've seen, especially with technology, the technology information age in the late 90s, I was talking to youth about aggression and violence in the movies, glorified drugs and Grand Theft Auto, and just the lyrics in music. And I would ask the question, do you think aggressive lyrics in the music, the gangster music, can evoke aggressive thoughts and feelings that you experience the world through your senses? You can learn behaviour. And they'd all put their hands up. But they were all playing Grand Theft Auto back then, 1997. And when we look at the world now, of how much this programming has got, this programming that's really been desensitizing and dehumanizing us, and a lot of the war and the destruction in the world that's been normalized, there's no surprise that we've got this trauma program over the years with this low energy, low frequency. And there's a book by David Hawkins, Power versus Force, and he talks about human consciousness and the calibration of humanity in the low frequency. You're getting past shame, guilt, anger, and elevating, and how anger is a great energy to elevate you and propel you through life if you can transform that energy. But just down on a level that with experiencing the world for all senses, with either downgrading or upgrading the software on our internal hard drive, reaction to response, to being switched on and tuned in, that this reactivity that's in the world now, to me, I've observed it for many years, and what I see now is that with a lockdown and people being suppressed and indoors and drinking alcohol and eating food, and a lot of people not taking care of themselves because of the stress and the stress build-up, especially in the States, is that we've got this reaction and we've got this people feeling emotionally withdrawn and tired and fatigued and mental health issues, difficult to process, especially if you're in your head with it, ungrounded, watching technology, and how people in the hypersensitivity of it all have just really, the lid's come off. And we've got all these protests, and we've got people who want to protest, share their views and opinions, their views and opinions, and then these protests have been hijacked by agitators, anarchists. And we're living in a world where what is going on? That is the old software. The old software is fear, trauma, the low frequency that humanity has got to shake off. And when I talk about the numbing effect, fear is the old software, and the new world is about upgrading your software. And how I feel that it's all come to the surface, and we've got to work through this process. And in everything that's happening is people don't know how to control the behaviour. People are in total reactivity because it's like a program that's been running, it's been normalised, and that in the process of being in response, that people during this very challenging period are moving their bodies, the boxing, the training, jiu-jitsu, martial arts, all of these elements that make us strong, give us discipline, self-confidence, and really keep us grounded like a tree that's strong, that can weather any storm, as I say. And that in that responsivity, we're looking at this unconscious reality of all this aggression and violence that needs to go. But it don't go by perpetuating itself and carrying on. And why have we got these riots and all of this violence? Why? What is going on? And I think a lot of us are connecting the dots with what is going on. And that there's great change and that humanity is shifting. We're at a crisis point. But stay in your hearts, because at the end of the day, you can't feed the fear. You've got to feed the fire and the passion and move through this process, because it is the greatest shift. And like I say, the great shift, the great awakening is having a greater awareness, but more so a self-awareness within yourself to make it through the process. So I wanted to share that today, that we've got a program running. It's the old software, and we've got to upgrade the software in our internal hard drive and operating system to switch on and tune in. Have a great day.